Hi, I'm Andy. Some of you are aware that I've been trialling construction clinics. A good question was asked of me, which was how do project managers roadmap a complete life cycle of a project from inception to completion with very little information? Well, by utilising standard work plans with a little bit of experience, I'm going to show you how. So we'll take a traditional masonry built house as the example. And I'll show you using the Reba Small Project Planner Works how we're going to start implementing this and scheduling this out. Let's insert as our heading a new build detached house. Okay, and the first stage as the plan of work is to prep and brief. This is when we engage you as a client or your clients and start talking about the idea you've got and start putting a bit of context to it. And you can see here we've got that. I'll just change that because that's going to be one and you'll see why in a minute. And then all the different stages under stage one I'll list here. So initial project brief, feasibility, what's going to cost, what you need to take to the design team in ways of site information, agreeing the schedule of works with the design team and then appointing them. Once you're happy with all that, then you can get the stage sign off with your clients. Okay. And you can see the work breakdown structure as it comes here. Next stage, concept design. Okay, that's going to be a summary of its own, and then everything in that stage, which I will give you, is there. And you'll see here the surveys out, you're getting them back in and we're working through the information. With that information, we're going to go out and we're going to test the water with the local authority and see if we can build on this plot of land we've got. And then your architect sort of comes in and structural and building services. Important that we engage them at this time. That's going to save a lot of time as we start developing the design. And I'll show you how this looks as it is. And then the project execution plan is, in addition to the project brief, this is where we're going to put a little bit of meat on the bones and giving you initial schedule, your risk registers, a bit more cost information. You're happy with everything in stage 2, you've got your client sign off. Okay, and we're happy with this. So we'll move over to stage 3, which is to start developing the design. Okay, everything's in place. Let's go. And now we're going to really work with the design team and look at putting together the idea. This, so you can see, all this information is what we carry out in stage 3. Again, with the architect, he's going to give you your location, your block, your site plan, all your plan sections, elevation, and start sketching some details out, along with the outline specifications. So you can start talking about what type of bricks you want, what type of roof covering, or even what kitchen you need, which is good. The structural guy, he'll start working through the drainage plan. That's important as we come through to the planning period. Foundation of the roof and sketch details, and he'll start outlining his specification along with his sketch details. Good. Building services. A lot of people gloss over this fact, and it's really important. Know where your incoming services are coming from. Okay. External lighting, that'll be linked in with your planning as well, so it's important that we get this developed design in early on. Okay. And once you or the client is happy, the stage start off. That will be stage 3, develop design. So once after this stage, we'll be getting ready to apply for planning permission. What I tend to do, this is not strictly to the stage work plan, but I always outline this anyway. We go for another stage, which is planning. Okay, very important. Prepare the submission, send it off to planning, get the decision hopefully, and discharge the planning conditions in this stage. Okay. A lot of people at this point, especially on smaller schemes, decision comes back, they'll engage a builder straight away, and the builder will then, working with the developed design, go off and build, and they're quite capable of doing that. But what I would always say is, you've invested heavily in the design stages, getting a decision. Let's just finish that off and put the right tools in the builder's bag, and it'll give you an option there where you can compare quotes on the same information. So the next stage of design is stage 4, which is the technical design. Okay. And again, it'll follow the same sort of details as stage 3, but what you're doing is you're adding more and firming up your requirements. So you can see here, site plan, including external works. It'll finish your plans and your sections, elevations, give you detailed plans and sections. External doors and windows, and internal door and ironmongery schedules, kitchen layouts, elevations, bathrooms, finishing plan, detailed specification, building regulations sufficient, which is important. You can do the building regulation in 3, but it's always better waiting on more detail from your structural guys and any complicated M&E. Structural, you're coming through here. And this is your foundation plan details, drainage plan and details, incoming services, external works, upper floor and details, roof planning details and a detailed specification. Okay, and your building services, or as some people say, M&E. So incoming services, finalise them, external lighting, small power, data comms, lighting, fire and security, and a detailed specification. Okay. Once you've got all that information, you can we'll put that together, assemble your employees and requirements, or prepare a tender document, if you will, so you can get out to the market, get it out to a few builders, and get a few quotes coming back in. Or you could even, if you were self-building or you just wanted to manage it, you can go out and get the relevant packages. But for the purpose of this, we'll stick with the builder route. So what we're going to do, we need to start procurement, which is another stage. Not strictly in the given stage plan, but all importantly. Okay, so like I said, we're going to assemble the employees' requirements, we're going to get it out to tender, we're going to get them tenders back and we're going to assess them properly. Make sure that we're getting value for money. Stage 5 is your building. You're going to start constructing. On stage 5 construction, we're going to list it all from site setup to handover, and I'm really concentrating on the critical path on this one. So there is a bit more into it, but you'll see what I mean by critical path when we start with that. Okay, right. Okay, so this is your plan of works. Let's see if it's all set up in the correct stages. 3, planning, yes. This one needs to come in. Stage 4, procurement needs to come in. Always worth doing this, because if your eyes aren't all that great like mine, you can quickly lose where you are. So yeah, there we go. So it's all in there. Stage prep and brief. Okay, let's start inputting some durations. So if you've used this software before, don't put durations against in summaries. We always put them about where the tasks are. Okay, so as we come through, Okay, there we go. So initial project brief 2 to 3, 2, 1, you get the idea. Let's come through and with a concept design. So let's have a look there, and the project execution plan. There you go. Okay, stage 3. Architectural, this is just really to get an idea of the overall plan. Once this is set, because it's at inception stage, you'll be delivering this to your client, and this really sets the benchmark and expectations going forward. So it's not super accurate. And the more you start talking to people, we'll adjust these and manage the plan as we go through. But in experience, they're never normally all that far off. Okay, that was your structural. Okay, planning. Stage 4. Building services. Okay, procurement. Okay. I should say on this procurement as well, always give a decent opportunity to you tender into, 25 days, 5 weeks is probably the norm for a small scale job like this. But you start rushing people, they'll be making mistakes. And then mistakes will come out in the build and give us a little bit of a headache. So we want to avoid that. Stage 5, construction. Okay, so now we've sort of put the durations against each one. Sorry, I've just missed one at the top there. Yeah, I've missed stage 1. Oh no, I haven't. Got it. Yeah, so you'll see, I don't really I see other people using this and moving parts now, but really focus on building the data in these cells here. Okay, so and you'll see, because we're working on an initial, I'm not interested in actual data starting and stopping. I don't really use them until we get into the crux of tracking and controlling it. You can see week 1, week 2, we've not got a date on it. So it's just an overall project life cycle, a roadmap, if you will. So let's have a look. We know in construction it's quite linear. I like working agile in the design stages, but for this process we'll stick to the waterfall method. I'll just give you a good idea of where we are. So what we're going to do, we're going to start looking now at what follows what can start at the same time, and therefore. So we start looking at predecessors. So yeah, looking at the predecessors, you can see here how and this is like I said, don't flick around these, rely on the data. Predecessor is what's coming before, and the successor is what's coming after. Really concentrate on these successors, if you will, and as long as you've got the predecessors in, you can go back and link the successors. And as we monitor and control the period, these successors do play an all important part in there. Okay, you can see how these link here. These ones might blow your mind, but basically it's just a formula. My predecessor is 8, so it's a client sign off, and it's going to be a week before we submit the pre-application. I'll show you once I can do it now, is when we change these to automatic. Yeah. inputting all this data. I'm just going to do this in one fell swoop. Okay. There you go. Okay, and we're going to change all this into automatic. Okay, and you can just check up on this. Yeah, you can see it's a waterfall exercise, and that's all your design stages there. Okay, just as I said, just come through and check that everything's got a successor, and then we know as we're tracking it what's the importance of it. A good one as well is I can tell you the critical path's going to run right through planning because it always does. Yeah, there you go. And then you've got your critical path. You can see these links go backwards. I've turned that around on the link so it's a start finish. If we started these as soon as possible, you're going to start and you're going to be waiting around to get material, and you see that quite a lot, and mistakes. It's always worth, knowing what your constraints are, knowing your critical path, and then working back for your starts on site. Always put your lead in for your main items. So I know masonry at the minute's on 6 weeks. Windows and doors can take 10 weeks by the time they've been designed and approved in manufacture. Okay, like I say, we all the common theme is we missed this step, but you can see it's off critical path. It doesn't take that long to put together, and it will give you that comfort as you're procuring that the costs are comparable and you're getting value for money. Don't go straight over and give your mate a job and effectively he's got a blank check as these things are covered. Hopefully that gives you an insight to how us project managers roadmap a complete project lifecycle from inception to completion with very little information. If you'd like to join me in one of my construction clinics, please feel free to message me. Give me a short subject on what you want to talk about and I'll get back to you straight away. Thank you.